where till from where I have to repeat second point? See, I have told from my mind. Can anyone who have written fully? Nobody? Written, no. Read it louder. Read it. Hmm. Have you written? Should I slow down? She is done like a news, huh? Written? Should we repeat again? Who want to be repeated? Done? Okay then. Done? No, everyone. Ah. Have you written? So more likely to accede to the second more reasonable request. Okay. That is the ending point. Now you write bait and switch technique. Bait and switch. Bait and switch. Bait and switch technique. So this is also a compliance tactics and a persuasion method. And it's a compliance tactic and a persuasion method where the person is made to comply. The person is made to comply to a request. The person is made to comply to a request which he would accept. And then coming up with another request, so that he may not refuse because both look complementary to each other. Okay. Then ingratiation, write this, ingratiation. INGRATIATION, ingratiation. Ingratiation. Yesterday we have discussed. Those who are absent, I don't know whether you know the name. So ingratiation, this is also a technique which can be used. So it's a method of, put a hyphen and write, it's a method of impression management. It's a method of impression management. IMPRESSION, impression management. And a psychological technique. It's a method of impression management and a psychological technique in which an individual attempts to influence another person, by becoming more likable to the target. That is ingratiation. By becoming more likable to the target. Okay. So same, you know what is meant by loaded words, labeling technique, that and all you need notes, or you can write on your own. Labeling, pre-giving technique, yesterday we discussed, no. So what is labeling? Anyone? Let me see how you have listened the classes. Labeling techniques. Labeling. In small classes, we used to stick labels in the note. So what the labels will tell? So you're using some sweet words, loaded words on the person, then you are trying to come with your request. So that person may comply to the request. So that is labeling technique. No. So should we take some notes for this? No need, no. So this one you will remember, right? So you just put a hyphen and write using loaded words to impress the person and then coming up with the request. Using loaded words to impress the person and then coming up with words. This is a very important tactics which we use in persuasion. Okay, and in social influence, with respect to compliance also, we use this method. Loaded words to impress the person and then coming up with request. Okay, so that the person will not say, it's a psychological tendency, okay? So the psychology of human is in such a way that if you're using sweet and loaded words, they will definitely comply to the request. So using loaded words to impress the person and then coming up with request. Okay, so that the compliance is higher here with respect to the request which you made to the person. Okay. Then what is the other one which I told now? Pre-giving. Pre-giving technique. Yes. So here you are gifting or giving something to the person, not only giving something. Either it can be again some sweet words and all, you're comforting the person in a nice manner, just giving them what they require. Everyone require different things, no? So according to that, you're giving something and then you're taking something from the person. It's a pre-giving technique. It's a tactics which can be used by a persuader. Okay. Pre-giving technique. Giving a gift, you just mentioned like that. In marketing strategy, they use this pre-giving technique. So just first giving or awarding a gift to a person, put gift in the single quote. Gift can be of anything. Gift to the person, then coming up with the request. Okay. So it varies from person to person, relationship to relationship. Okay. So just you're giving what the person requires, and then you ask with the request which you want from that person. So that is also a tactics, pre-giving technique. What they do? Discounted articles. That is something which we can also put under low ball technique. It's also another term which we can use in marketing. In marketing, this and all is very important, but it's related to persuading a person. We can consider these terms. But what is low ball technique? Yes, as you have said, discounted articles. So why you thought like discounted articles has to be put in pre-giving technique? Okay. So you are saying in this way, this will come in pre-giving technique. As they are sending some coupons to you, then they are making you to buy something. So you vouchers. And in the vouchers only a part will be covered. You have to pay the rest. No, then have you or you got everything for free? So that is the tactics which they use. It's also a pre-giving technique only. So then something which is there in the management, they used to study this low ball technique. What they do, they try to reduce the cost of the product. They lure the customers. Actually, what they do is that the product rate is same. They try to increase it and then they show as if the product has discounted. So that is low ball technique. So this is a lower technique which is used in management. It will not go well with persuasion and all. Now, we'll start. What is obedience? There is one more thing, no? The areas of social influence. What is that? Obedience is still pending. What is obedience? We all have good experience in obedience. The moment we are born, we are growing up. Till now, we are obedient to some person. No, obedience. Working according to the rules, obedient to rules. So the obedience is of various versions. We are obedient to some persons, we are obedient to some rules, regulations, to bodies. Like this, obedience occurs in various. What is obedience? That is the question. That means we are accepting the orders from an authorized figure. We are ready to. There are some experiments which were conducted by various philosophers. They said like Hoffman, Stanford, Hoffling experiment, Okay, like this, a lot of experiments were conducted. In that, what they did, they checked that, even in dramas, you just take it's for a play, like a play is also done. In that play, some people are given an authority to command other people. Okay, if they are wearing a uniform in such a way that they are wearing a police officer's uniform, they are asking the subordinates to do something, and the subordinates obey to that. Why? Because they feel that that person is an authorized person who's above us and a superior, and then if he gives a command, we have to obey that. Okay, this is a technique where already the person is having something in his hand. What is that? Authority. I already told social influence. Authority. Okay. We have to ask these people to check. And authority, power. There is something which we call as resource. Social influence and persuasion difference is that persuasion can be acquired by anyone. It's a skill. We all can develop persuasion. As you become an IAS officer, as a civil servant, you will have this tool of persuasion. Then only you can implement the schemes in a proper way. But social influence, already you have that. How? You are an influential person only there in your district because you are in an authorized position. You are a powerful person. You are having power. If you are in an NGO and if you are a civil servant, that's the difference. So one time when the interview question was asked like this, why, if you want to become an IAS officer and this person, I want to serve the society. And they put the question, if you want to serve the society, then go to NGO. Why did you come to, study UPSC? So what's the difference? Why you want to become an IAS officer? That's the difference. Obedience. How obedience comes? Because if you are an NGO person, you just go and talk to them, nobody will care. You are also doing the same thing. You are also serving the society. You are also put up in the position, but here you can do with power. There is something called power, no, that comes through this. So that is a resource which you already want. Okay, this is a resource. That's why civil servant have both social influence also already in his hand and persuasion tactics. Both work together, he can implement the scheme in the proper way. That is why this is also put as a topic for you. So the power is already in your hand in the name of authority and people obey to it, but you have to use it in the right way, right? So obedience is something which brings authority and power, and this as a resource and makes the people accept what you are trying to say. That's why we have put obedience under social influence. Okay, so just take 1 point definition for obedience, then we'll move. It's a form of social influence. So when I'm just making you to write about the difference between persuasion and social influence, then you will know why I'm saying obedience as a social influence technique only. Okay. So just write obedience is a form of social influence where an individual acts. It's a form of social influence where an individual acts in response to a direct order. Okay, when an individual acts in response to a direct order from another individual who is usually an authority figure. This and all is proved by the experiments, Stanford experiments, Hoffling experiments, Stanford authority figure. It's a prison related experiment. I told how authority is checked. So here, police officers and the criminals. That way they try to conduct the research. And then Hoffling experiment, it's a medical related experiment where the doctors and the nurses giving treatment to the patients. And some people are made to act like a patient, some people are made to act like a doctor, and what the doctor said, the patient obeyed. Okay, so like this, they conducted a lot of experiment related to this. Hoffling hospital experiment and Stanford prison experiment. Okay, all this proved that yes, obedience is there. When a person is in authorized position and he says something, people are ready to accept it. Okay, so it's a form of social influence and they consider it as a resource. The power and authority as a resource a person can hold, like how you have wealth, how you have fame, how you have name. Why we say that film stars are also a source of social influence. Why we are taking them as a source of influence? We said no, the sources of social influence. What are the sources? Likeable sources, desirable sources. Like this, we discussed a lot of sources. In that we said how the film stars are used in marketing field to influence art, to deliver a message to the people. Why we are using them? Fame and name is a resource they have already. Okay, they have already earned it. Same way a wealthy person, coming and talking or telling something, just he shifts his focus, the market goes down and the market jumps and dances according to his wishes. Why? He is the wealthiest person. No. So money is the resource which he holds. And if he says something and if he invest in some shares, then value goes up. And if he says delivers some words about that company, the share comes down. The reason is the wealthiest person. So these are the resources which they already possess. This is something which we call influence. Okay. Now, what is persuasion? That's it. Have you written this? What is persuasion? Now we'll go to the persuasion. Obedience is nothing. It's something where we are using a power as a resource to influence the people. Okay. That's it. So it's a form of social influence only. Yes. What is persuasion? So still now we saw what is social influence. No. So what will be the difference between social influence and persuasion? Why we are not using the same name? Sometimes it is used, sometimes social influence is also a form of persuasion only. They used to say like that, but that is a difference between both. What is that? So yesterday we wrote a definition of a social influence. What is the definition? Please turn the pages back. Those who are present. I don't know whether you've taken the definition. Another individual or a group, either intentionally or unintentionally. There is a word which was mentioned as intentionally or unintentionally. In the persuasion, only a conscious attempt is made by one individual to change. That is, I want to change your behavior. I want to change your attitude. I want to change your values. I do it intentionally. That is the difference between social influence and persuasion. And in social influence, you always have a set of resources with you already. The resources is with you. Okay. So you are already an influential person in the society. You can have name, you can have fame, okay, wealth, power, authority, all these things. All these are a form of resources you possess. And when you are trying to deliver something, people are ready to accept it. But in persuasion, you need not have all these things. It is not necessary at all. But if you do have, it will enhance the persuasion techniques. So persuasion is a skill which can be possessed by all. How? You have to persuade the people, how you have to convince the people by delivering some messages to them. That is the difference. In social influence, I already told you, there is no need that you have to deliver the message. It takes place intentionally or unintentionally. Even something you do will inspire the people. Okay, your actions also will inspire the people. You need not speak and deliver something and convince them. But in persuasion, you have to spur and convince the people according to your need. Okay, that is persuasion. So this takes place through delivering of some messages between people. Without delivering, no need. Anyone can persuade if you have that skill. Okay, if you are able to impress the people, you can persuade. But social influence will enhance the persuasion. You can say like that, will enhance the persuasion. Okay, if you are having already a resource in your hand, and then you are ready to talk and convince some people, that is why an IAS officer, is already having power and authority in his hand. Now he is having this persuasion skill also. The questions in your UPSC, how they are asking the questions, they are asking that, that has to be a development project which has to be undertaken. Now the people who originally belong to that place is not ready to move. Not ready to, you will face these types of developmental related issues in your office. When you take charge, you will face a lot of problems like this. So what happens? You have to develop the area. At the same time, the people are not ready to part with the land, which they have already living for very long years. They're not ready to move to new one, which is offered by the government. So how will you convince the people? How will you suggest measures? This type of question will be asked in exams also. Suggest measures. How would you solve this issue? Then what will you do? You will be using persuasion tactics. How will you be using? Social influence is already in your hand. You are already an influential person only, but you have to use persuasion tactics to convince the people. Okay, so this is how the question appears in this topic, social influence and persuasion. And in case study, indirectly, they will give a question, then you have to use persuasion and social influence, as you have already forwarded some answers to me, right? So now we will see that persuasion is something same. Just take the definition, then we'll also make a difference between social influence and persuasion. Okay, so persuasion means what? Persuasion, put a question mark, then write. Yes. It is defined as a conscious, conscious attempt. It is defined as a conscious attempt by one individual, by one individual. Underline the conscious attempt by one individual to change the conscious attempt by one individual to change the attitudes. Attempt by one individual. You can also draw this diagram. It's a conscious attempt by one individual to change the attitude, beliefs, okay, attitudes, beliefs, behaviors of another individual, beliefs, etc., of another individual or group of individuals through transmission of some message. Okay. Individuals through transmission of some message. That underline that also, through transmission of some message. Transmission of some message. So this is the diagram we can make for persuasion. Here the source is trying to change the destination. This is a target group. Target can be an individual or can be a group. Okay. Trying to change the attitudes, beliefs, opinions, behaviors of the individual or a group. This is the target group. This is the source. So there has to be a source, there has to be a target, there has to be a message to be transmitted between two people, and there should be a channel of communication. If you are considering persuasion, all these are important. These are the 4 components which has to be present there. Channel of communication. Without this, persuasion cannot happen. That is the difference between social influence and persuasion. And this is, you can mention that it's a conscious attempt made to change all these things. Okay, conscious attempt to change. What? To change the attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors of the target group. So through the transmission of some message. So this is persuasion. Okay. Social influence, we already have had a diagram. And in persuasion, this is the diagram which we can use. So there should be a source, there should be a destination, there should be some message to be transferred between the source and the destination through a channel of communication, either through the direct channel or through the indirect channel. And why is doing that? To change. It's a conscious attempt made by this source to change the beliefs, attitudes, behavior of the target group. Okay, so that is called as persuasion. Okay, this definition was given by Bettingas. Bettingas is the person who was, now you have written some definition. No, it was given by Bettingas. Okay. Have you done? Have you drawn this diagram? Okay, draw. Then I'll give another one small definition. So do you understand the difference between social influence and persuasion? It can be of positive or it can turn to be a negative one also when you're trying to persuade a person, no? So how will you convince the person? Yeah, it happens many a times. They are not ready to persuade. That is why negotiation keeps on happening. Some places it will not be a successful one. So what do you have to do after that? There are certain steps. Today we'll see such case study. One such case study we'll see. Okay. If there is, after completing this persuasion, we'll see that case study. You will get an idea. Okay. Then you can work out that particular cases with related to 2 ways. One is if this persuasion is not going to be, they are not going to ask if the persuasion is not successful, what will you do? They will be asking steps, suggest steps. How will you make these people move from one place to another place? You cannot use force. You cannot. No. Whether can you use against a civilian? That was the issue which happened in the Thoothukudi incident. They were using forces against the civilians, the own civilians. So like how some countries are using shelling against their own civilians, you would have known, Syria. Same way, you cannot do that. So how will you try to move them? Only in the peaceful way you can do it. So that is why they are saying this is an important tool an officer has to possess. He is left with only one and only thing, that is persuasion only. It doesn't mean that in the night you go and put fire on the people's houses. The people run away from the place. You cannot do it. You are not a gunda. Huh? You have to sometimes, practically, I can say here theoretically you should not. But can it be the same when you go to the field, that there is something which is totally different? It doesn't mean that you are going to cheat the person and completely, lure him away from the places. He is going to get some benefit. You have to fight for the benefit of the people. Without the benefit, you're not going to evacuate those people from that places. It is better that they move from this place also. Sometimes, even now, people are living along with the animals. They're not getting any benefit. They're not having any infrastructure facilities. Instead, they can move to some places where they can get all the benefits. Even the children can attend the schools. They're not moving away. What will you do? You can tell something that make them move from the places, but you're doing it for the benefit of the people. Teleology. In that way, you can use that term, right? That won't be ethical, because trust will not be there on you. Okay, that's why the officers never try to do it. But what to do if it is the last thing which they can do? If it is the last way that they have to evacuate, they should move these people from this place to the other place. Otherwise, this project is not going to happen. Then they have to do in such a way that, not open lies. There is something which we call, what is called open lies? White lies. What is it? So that type of thing is not allowed. But still, those things which is making a person, giving the benefit to the people. You can just give something. You cannot give everything in the pure form, all truth. Never people will move away from that places. There are something which you have to adjust according to the developmental activities. So you have to do, right? Obedience and persuasion. Yeah. See, what is obedience? Uses his power and authority to command the people. That is obedience. What is persuasion? A person who is in the power will never use persuasion at all. In most of the times, they are trying to command the people who are below them. Okay, they are holding in such a position. They are in the authoritative position. They always hold that position, and then they deliver the message to the people so that they obey. But persuasion is not such thing. Although you are having power, you are an officer, you cannot behave with the people like that. People will never understand, because they are not in the system. They are, if you are an officer who are hired to some person in the hierarchy level, you may command him. You cannot go and persuade him. It looks foolish. But when you are coming to the people, although you have power and authority, you have power and authority in your department, but you cannot go and talk to the people like that. That is why we said now we are interacting with the people, not with a system, not with a machine. But still the officers are in that mentality. They are behaving in ivory tower mentality only. They are not ready to speak to the people in the persuasive approach. That's why we are saying persuasion has to be there for a civil servant, because they are speaking with the common man. Okay, so they cannot go and order them around. As we said, you just move away. So this place we need, get out. We want to take, and I am an officer. I am telling, because I am the officer of this district. If I say you have to move out, you cannot say like that. So what you have to do is that you have to convince them. How and all the way you have to convince them. As she was asked, speaking lies is one such thing she suggested. The thing is that you cannot speak lies openly, as we call as white lies, because this will degrade the trust on the position. Once the trust is gone, the people will never believe you. So that persuasion is such a technique. It's a skill where you are using all the things mixed up to make a person convinced. There should be some betterment for the people also. It should not be like you are going to degrade the value of the people and you are going to take that land and use for the development. But at the same time, people will never accept if you are completely listing out the facts related to it. So you have to hide. Do you understand? It doesn't mean you lie. You have to hide. That's the difference. That's the difference. You have to be honest, but you need not be integrity. You not stick to integrity at some places. You cannot. Okay. Otherwise, you will be only a paper officer. And a officer who writes and keeps everything in the paper, you cannot implement it. So you have to have the skill of persuasion. That's why they say persuasion is always a negative skill, but still it can be used in the positive way. You will learn once when we complete, I'll do it. Huh? Huh. Hmm. Hmm. Next level, you will go to next level. He will try to just seek the help of, you can say, I'll seek the help of the superiors, then what I can do in this related to this, then you can use your authority here, because that project is very important for the growth of economy as well as for the, based on the greater good. You always have to move based on greater good, not on one person's opinion or few people's opinion. If that is going to do benefit for more number of people, then you have to, take that stand only. So you will be moving accordingly, right? So now you write the difference between persuasion and social influence. Influence and persuasion. Okay. See, just write. If persuasion is the hammer you pull out. If persuasion is the hammer you pull out. Persuasion is the hammer you pull out. Generally, you write as a paragraph. Both we are going to give, okay? So we are not going to write as a table or column. Done. If persuasion is a hammer you pull out the moment. If persuasion is the hammer you pull out. Under persuasion only. Now the topic starts. Persuasion topic has started. Okay. If persuasion is a hammer you pull out the moment you see a nail. Nail, N-A-I-L. Okay, that nail. Hammer you pull out the moment you see a nail. Comma. Influence. You pull out a nail. Hammer you, that's a in the moment skill. Persuasion is in the moment skill. Okay, that is why they are given like this. Hammer you pull out the moment you see a nail, comma, influence is the apprenticeship. How you call this? Apprenticeship. Apprentice. So, apprentice. So apprenticeship and training you go through. So influences the apprenticeship and the training you go through long before. The training you go through long before you attempt to build a house. Training you go through long before the attempt to build a house. Okay. So that's what it means. It means that social influence is a resource you collect. So have you done? Written till this? So if persuasion is the hammer you pull out the moment you see a nail. Till that you have written? Put a comma. Influence is the apprenticeship and training you go through long before you attempt. And training you go through long before you attempt to build a house. Long before you build a house. Okay. Before you attempt to build a house. Have you written? Training you go through long before you attempt to build a house. Written till this? Over? Okay. So then put a full stop and write. That means influence takes place. Influence takes place. Influence takes place due to accumulation of resources. Accumulation of resources. Okay. But persuasion, accumulation of resources, but persuasion is more like an, put under double quotation, in the moment skill. Persuasion is more like an in the moment skill. Okay. In the moment skill. Done. Next paragraph. Influence is the ability. To make someone do something. Influence is the ability to make someone do something. True. Influence is the ability to make someone do something through the use of one's resources. Through the use of one's resources. Inside the bracket, you write through the use of one's resources. Inside the bracket, like wealth, comma, status, comma, power, status, comma, power, comma, authority, etc. So these are some of the resources which the people have, okay, etc. And persuasion is the ability to make someone do something. Persuasion is the ability to make someone do something through the use of words. Through the use of words to manipulate their thoughts. Through the use of words to manipulate their thoughts, behavior, and action. Manipulate the thoughts, behavior, and actions. Okay. Thoughts, behavior, and action. So all, thoughts, behavior, and action. Words to manipulate their thoughts, behavior, and action. Thoughts, behavior, and action. Write another one small paragraph below this. Persuasion technique. Persuasion is always seen as a negative skill only. Okay. Persuasion technique, comma, when applied with. Persuasion technique when applied with honest and sincere intention. Persuasion technique when applied with honest and sincere intention can make positive. Persuasion technique when applied with honest and sincere intention can make a positive contribution. For the betterment of life of individuals. For the betterment of life of individuals or group. Okay. Single individual or a group. For the betterment of the lives of individuals or groups. Written? So this is a skill which you have to possess with related to the people, not to a subordinate. Sometimes for that you have emotional intelligence, not persuasion skill. You need not go and persuade him, but you have to be an emotionally intelligent person. In their persuasion is a skill in emotional intelligence also. Okay, how you are understanding your team member and coordinating the team is very important for the success of the scheme which you are going to implement. But with related to the subordinate, you should always use your obedience skill, that is social influence, which is already with you. But with related to the people, you have to use persuasive skill. If persuasion is not successful, then you have to go by the authority only. Okay, you have to evacuate them no matter what. Then you have to go through the order of the government. That's it. Like this, you have to write the case. Already it was asked in your UPSC, this case especially. You can also present the answer, write and present it to me. Let me check. Okay. Now, okay, fine. We have said persuasion is there. We are trying to persuade the people by passing some messages. We are trying to convince them. So we said it's a skill which a person can possess. Every family has one person like that. They will call that person. If somebody is very adamant, they will call and ask them to speak. Your uncle Chachaji has come. Suppose something you are not agreeing. Then what happens? The mother and father will not talk further to you. They will ask or call your person who is that. Why it means his skill is very good in persuading the people. So they will call that person. Then they will ask to talk to them so that you may change your mind. Okay. So then if a persuasion is trying to happen, there are something which inhibits the persuasion within a person. No, we cannot easily accept it. So what are those things which are going to inhibit the persuasive skill? That only we are going to discuss now. First one in that, just mention boomerang effect. Boomerang. Okay. So you write resistance to persuasion. Resistance. What are those which are resisting the persuasion? Okay. Resistance to persuasion. In that first one, we can mention this as boomerang effect, or you can also call this as reactance. Do you get it? Till this understood? Any doubt in that? Till this what we have discussed. Do you have any doubt? Persuasion, social influence. Any doubt? The differences between both? No? Now, the thing which are trying to resist the persuasion, what are those things? No, within an individual. First one is reactance. What is boomerang? Have you seen that? No, it's the thing which you play with, no, sometimes. When you throw, it comes back to your hand. The same way, what happens, some people are like this, like a boomerang. If suppose we are saying something, then always they will react in the opposite way. No matter what. You're telling something, they will resist it. Okay, so that is something which we call as reactance. What we leave, it come back to our hand in the opposite way. So same way, these people also resist persuasion. So they are very adamant, they are not ready to accept whatever other people are trying. If they feel that their freedom is being occupied by other person, the freedom is affected by other person, their space has been taken away by another person. So they feel that, they react to the thing which is given by, which is suggested by other person. So these people cannot be easily persuaded. So this is one thing which we use as reactance, where people try to react to the persuasive messages. Second, forewarning. Forewarning. So what is this? If a person finds that just I'll give an example. Mother and daughter fighting. What happens at the end? Mother wins or daughter wins? Mother wins. Okay, so what happens? Here the argument starts. The moment the argument starts, then the person who is very strong will definitely know that this person is trying to resist what the other person is coming to say. No, some person is going to give a message and some is going to accept it. So now this person is trying to resist. So the argument starts happening, and at the last, the conclusion will not be accepted by the person who is going to get persuaded by the other person. That is forewarning. Okay, this person is warned that more or less these two look similar only. In reactance, the moment the person starts the conversation, this person will leave the place. Shut the door on the face. Just leave. Get out. Don't talk to me. These types of messages will be given out by the person who get persuaded, right? To the persuader. So you cannot talk to these types of people about that at all. But here, when you start to talk, arguments keep on continuing. At last, the person who has to be persuaded will not get persuaded at all. Will be stubborn as like an ox. Whatever they said, they will be in there only. The fight between mother and daughter, fight between husband and wife, most of all times it happens for this reason only. And what happens? The person sometimes accepts the message, sometimes they do not. That is called forewarning. Okay, so most of all, we are talking about those who are not accepting the messages. Stockpile. We call those people who are physically, mentally, intellectually, in whatever way they are strong. These people react to the messages offered by some other person. If they're intellectually strong, if somebody is delivering some messages, they are not ready to accept it. Age-wise, very seniors, you just go and persuade them. We are giving a task today. Just go and talk to the old people. You make them understand. You make them accept whatever you're coming to say. Never it will happen. They will ask everything. Then they say, beta, it's time you go and eat. Kalona, over. Then we will carry the same message with us. This person will not get persuaded. So this types of, that is why we say the stockpiles. Those people who are stubborn with knowledge, physical strength, mental strength cannot be easily persuaded at all. Okay. Then selective avoidance is other technique used by people, which is acting as resistant to persuasion. Selective avoidance. What happens here? These people and all we can put in one case. Those who are reacting will never hear your message at all. They don't want to talk to you at all. Forewarning, totally you will lose your hope. Starting the fight goes on, negotiation goes on, but everything will not end up properly. Okay. Then stockpiling, you will never try to reach these people at all in most cases because they are strong, either mentally or intellectually or physically. You are very fearful to deliver some messages to them. We ourselves. And then you go to selective avoidance. These people are the worst of worst. What happens here? Sometimes Your parents call those people in your family to convince you. Okay. And if you are having this habit of selective avoidance, what you will do? From morning, you will engage with this person till evening. You will talk very nicely. You will discuss everything. You know? Then whatever messages they are telling, you also will hear that. You will hear through this ear, leave through that ear. What and all you want, you will accept it. Whatever and all you don't want, you will never take that. That is called selective avoidance. These types of people are very, very harmful because we don't know that. That's why every time we pass the message, we think that, okay, I have done my duty. I have done my job. But what happens? This person will do what he is doing. He will never resist also. He'll never, don't talk this and all to me. Why are you always advising me? No such things. Very pacified manner, he will ask everything, will hear everything, calmly will sit, do everything. Then after he leaves, only what he is doing, he will try to do that. Selective avoidance. Okay, so these are some of the characters of people which are trying to resist their persuasion when we are trying to impart to them, right? Just write reactance. Reactance, put a hyphen, right? It refers to. It refers to the negative reaction given by people. Okay, it refers to the negative reaction given by people. Negative reaction given by people when they feel that. Negative reaction given by people when they feel that. What are the negative reactions? We are mentioning it is the negative reaction given by people. Negative reaction, what are those negative reactions will be given by these types of people? Either they will leave the place or they will ask you to leave. Get out, enough. A protest. How will you protest? You will not eat in your home. Leave the place. Huh? You are saying in the public space, huh? The family also. What type of protest you will do? I'm very eager to hear that. Okay, so write negative. Babies. What type of protest? No, that's why I'm very eager. I will not eat. That's why I'm asking. Hunger protest. Hunger protest, eating silently, moving into the kitchen. After everyone sleeps, eating, then coming back and saying, again, I'm in hunger protest. They actually don't do this. It's a very bad habit. One of the person whom I know, one of my friends' brother, very rich. They are very rich, super rich, we can say. So what happens? This father buys everything, one and only son, daughter and son. Daughter was in abroad, studying along with me. Son was here, very, 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 very adamant person. Same, how she has said that, it's also type of reactance only. The protesting, you are just reacting in such a way that whatever father says, he will never accept. And whatever he wants, again, he go for a protest. So like this, every time in his age, in all the stages, he got everything to protest. He'll say, I'll do suicide if you're not giving me this. And it became, worse and worse day by day. And during college, he asked for bike, which cost around 20 lakhs. The father said, I am buying, I will buy. Okay. He said, no, I want now. Okay. What will he do? He said, if you are not giving me, I will commit suicide. Because he is also politically influential person. He can make anything come in a second. So then the daughter is advising him, father, this is not good. Don't engage this type of character. So he said, okay, I'll bring you, I'll give you, wait for few days. He said, no, I want now. He went into the room, locked himself, threatened the father, as if he's going to hang. He hanged. Died. So that's why they used to say, no, tiger is coming, tiger is coming. There was a boy who heard the cattle. He used to threaten the people like tiger is coming. So everybody will run and to save him and all, or they will go and hide somewhere. But one day when the tiger comes, nobody is ready to come. Same way it happened with this person also. So that's why this is a very bad habit. Reactance, just put a hyphen and write. It refers to the negative reaction a person gives when he feel that. Because you will become red pulp, no? If you are doing something, they will give nicely left and right, no? Roast you like peanut. So even our family and all, they do, because Not all rich family, don't mistake like that. How can you use to such a person to very adamant? In young age, you would have done it. You cannot bend a person in 5 years of age. Now, how can you do this person? He's not ready by mind. Will has to come now. Yes, will do that. But he's not ready to do that. What you will persuade him? If he's asking to you, now I want, how will you persuade? You have to bring him, then only you can persuade to him. You cannot say, dear, wait. He knows about his father. His father is giving everything to him. In spite of that, he is so much adamant. That type of character should not be encouraged. Okay. So that has to be treated differently. So put a hyphen and then have it done. Where we have left. Someone is trying to limit our personal freedom. Someone is trying to limit our personal freedom. Huh? When they feel that someone is trying to limit their personal freedom. When someone is trying to limit their personal freedom, okay, are trying to change their belief. Trying to change their belief or ideas. Next, you write for next topic, forewarning. Forewarning, put a hyphen and write. It refers to the tendency of building. It refers to the tendency of building counter arguments. It refers to the tendency of building counter arguments. To the tendency of building counter arguments. Okay. Against a persuasive argument. So that's why same you asked with that people. How can you, if you are not doing persuasion, what can you do? If these people are going against protest and continuously opposing the government, you cannot simply tolerate that. No, as an officer, you are responsible for the law and order of the state. You cannot simply say, come on, we will come, we'll go and take coffee and then you can continue your protest. You cannot say that. So you have to treat them in such a way that they do not, oppose the government in every way. They have to accept the development also. As a citizen, it's our duty. No, it is mentioned in the constitution itself. So what is that forewarning where we left? Building counter arguments against a persuasive argument. So and this will help the receiver, and this will help the receiver to resist, and this will help the receiver to resist, and this will help the receiver to resist the conclusions. This will help the receiver to resist the conclusions. This will help the receiver to resist the conclusions recommended by the persuader. This will help the receiver resist conclusions recommended by the persuader. So this is one such tactics which are used by those who are opposing persuasion. When you start to say something, they will start the argument. Hey, who are you? How will you tell like this? When our brother is saying something to us, or when our husband or when our wife is saying something, then you start, see, you did that day this way. You are coming to talk to me now like this. Argument starts. Then that person become red, angry. Then then he will start, you fool, you don't know, I am coming to change your way of thinking and you are advising me. Now the argument starts. That is what they expect. They expect that. They don't want to change. They are very much adamant in their belief. They are very much adamant. That is why social evils are still happening. You just go and talk to these people. When you go in the field, you know about it. You just go and talk something, they put an argument in front of you. They starts fighting. Okay, then it will become a communal riot in some places and all. It starts like that and becomes a communal riot, and they run to save the life. They go to change the behavior, then they run to save their own life. Now, helps receive conclusions recommended by the persuader. Then, full stop. Selective avoidance. Stockpiling. Write that. A person with physical, cognitive. A person with physical, cognitive, and social resources, like high status, all those things, social resources, is more likely to resist persuasion. cognitive and social resource are more likely, resources are more likely to resist persuasion. Okay, more likely to resist persuasion. Then, right, for avoidance, selective avoidance. It refers to a tendency. It refers to the tendency where the receiver, it refers to the tendency where the receiver, process the information or message, given out by the persuader, okay, given out by the persuader by attempting to find, consistent viewpoints while avoiding inconsistent viewpoints. Okay, inconsistent viewpoints. Over. So now you got some idea about persuasion. We are going to see two methods of persuasion. So still there's any doubt you have? Any doubt? So over the time when you're writing the case study, you will understand it better. Okay. So like persuasion is the skill as like social influence, but there is a slight difference. In persuasion, as we said, something has to be manipulated in order to make the person accept, because first we are trying to influence them with the position which we hold, the trust we develop in the people. People try to respect you, but respect is totally different than what they are trying to obey. So when there is a strict implementation of some programs and all, and where the people are not ready to accept what you're coming to say, then you go for persuasion. Because here there is a person, citizen, common man. You cannot simply go and command and order them around. So now you go for persuasion. Even if they are not ready to accept, there are some people inside that group only, they will try to protest against the government measures. Then you have to take some other measures to stop this. As one such case study we will see today. Okay, for that, related to that only. Some moment and protest starts happening, then what will you do? Right. Resistance is also a skill. In the positive way, if it is a skill. If you're doing for your own benefit, some person is coming, he's asking you just leave UPSC. He's trying to convince you. Let us consider like that, Chipko moment. I'll come to you later. So now he is asking you to leave UPSC. What will you do? He's persuading you. He's saying like sweet words and all, like you are having talent in different field. We'll go to abroad together. We'll study there. You leave this UPSC. Why you need India? India is poor country. Come out. He's convincing you in such a way. You also like this person. Now what will you do? If you are resisting that persuasion, that is for your own good. You are doing for the benefit of you. Then it is a skill you possess and it is used in the right way. Okay. It's also a skill which we have, a talent which we have. As she asked, it's a talent which we can use, but it has to be for the positive purpose you have to use, not for the negative way. That as I said, you are adamant and then you are opposing your parents' advice. That is a negative way which you are performing it, right? So use it in the right way. Now come. Where we left? We have done the social influence and persuasion, right? Yes. Now we will see the approaches to persuasion. What are the approaches we are having? Okay. There are two types of approaches. One is the traditional approach and another one is the cognitive approach. We call this as cognitive approach. So what is traditional approach? What is cognitive approach? That only we are going to see. So we know what is persuasion. Persuasion is a way that we are delivering. The source is trying to deliver some message to the receiver. Okay. So it takes place through some channel of communication. In traditional approach, there will be a sender, okay, and there will be a receiver. So draw anyway. I am just drawing two things like this. And there will be a message to be delivered from this person to the receiver. And there is a channel of communication. Okay, the message is sent through some channel. It can be a direct channel or it can be an indirect channel. And this is a message. This is the message which is delivered to the person from the source. And this is the sender or the source just trying to deliver the message. And this is the receiver who is going to receive the message. This is traditional. Only these four components are focused. Source, okay, message, channel of communication, receiver. This is traditional. In cognitive approach, we will go further. First, we'll start with this. What is a source as a sender? How a source has to be in order to persuade the people? What type of source are preferred in order to persuade a person? Okay. For this, we can say two types of sources. One is the credible sources. Second, likable sources. So both likable or desirable, all this comes. Desirable. Same way, like how we did in social influence. Here also, persuasion can be improved through this way. Okay. Persuasion can be improved if the source is of a likable source. The person who you are fond of, you like most. These people will try and convince you. Okay. Are desirable sources. Desirable. Okay. Those you desire, those you want, you like and desirable sources. Right. And these sources can be of a credible source also. And this, if a person is such a way, then the message delivered by him will be accepted by the receiver easily. Source has to be in such a pattern. The physical attractiveness, mostly in marketing field, they are using, in the likable or desirable sources, they are using physical attraction also. Okay. Physical attraction. In order, so that's why you go to shop. What type of people are like salespersons there? Huh? Huh? A communication or appearance wise, style, they have different uniqueness in them. They present themselves in a nice manner. So those types of sources are preferred there. So source has to be in these types of way so that the message delivered by them will be easily received by the receiver. How the message has to be, this is important in persuasion. The message has to be clear, okay, and clarity, in a clarity manner. And the characteristics of message is very important. So how the message has to be presented to the people, it has to be in the clear manner. Content of the message is important. Just like content. Okay, the message has to be pleasant in the clear way, and the content is very important. And how you are going to organize the message is also important in persuasion. Unnecessarily, if you're talking a lot of things, nobody is ready to listen. But what is required, you have to put it in a simple way. That is important in persuasion. That improves the persuasion of a person. So how? In advertisements also, we can see, so these people are trying to use fear arousal approach. Arousal. This and all is the approach which is used to present the message such a way that impress the people. Any example you can give? What they do? What is that? Fully? I have not seen that. I'm not seen that. What is that advertisement? Anyone for this fear arousal approach? What is that? Hygiene management. Okay. What is that advertisement about? I have not seen that. Okay. So that type of message they are conveying. So they are giving a fear arousal for those who smoke. At the same time, they are also delivering a. Okay. So like this, we have a lot of messages which is given through, it's advertisement is also a form of persuasion only. You're persuading the consumer group. Okay, you're trying to influence and persuade the consumer group. So for some messages, fear arousal, I can also say this, like where taking insurance. Suddenly the lady's husband will turn to a pigeon, fly away. Have you seen that advertisement also? So this, like as she has said, you're arousing the fear of the people. So you're just giving some message to the community by arousing the fear of the community. So that is fear arousal approach. Yeah, how they do? No, how they recruit? That's a question. Please give some insight. Anna. No, she's coming to deliver some message. They are intellectually very strong. That is the major problem. And they present and they deliver some messages to you in such a way they convince. Yes, very good. Persuasion is taking place as lot of issues are coming out then and there in the newspaper. When you read out, you can see that these people are going and joining, like as if you're joining in Labas. they are recruited from our country. How? This is also through persuasion only. They are arousing the fear within you. The ideological fear is aroused. Okay, so what will happen to you? You are a minority community people who are residing here in the India. Your wishes and desires are not satisfied by the government. These types of messages they are giving in the side. They are developing nice messages and sending it to you and making you, convincing you, brainwashing you and making you to join here in these types of groups. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. So he says, shares this as a proud moment in his life. He's saying his experience, how he has got into it. So this. Yeah. That is how they arouse the fear in you. Now you are sinner. Come here. Apply this fear in people because even God is one such fear arousal only we are creating in people. Otherwise, crime rates will go up. Everybody will act in their own interest. Fear arousal approach we are using. So fear arousal is one such approach. Then humor arousal, humor appeal use. One chocolate ad and all comes like this. You go for haircut, then you'll ask what style you need. Then you put that chocolate in the mouth and that person gets that hairstyle. Humor appeal. I'm saying an example. Same way, some people, if they want people to accept what they're coming to say, they start with humors. So make them relaxed. Then they deliver the message. So that person is in a good mood. When you are in a nice mood, when you are in a good mood, when you are in a positive mood, when you will be in a positive mood, you're happy mood. So then you will accept if what other person is saying, it's true or wrong. No, you give whatever and all you are having in the packet to other person. If they ask, please give me some 50 rupees, you'll give 100 rupees to them. And because you're happy, something is there, your mind is cool and relaxed. So you do whatever you like. What other person is demanding from you, you try to do that. So that's why they use this humor appeal in persuasion. Okay, or sex appeal, like button washing and all. They show like how the ladies are suffering, putting this and that in the advertisements. Then even the bathroom cleaning, one person comes with a harpic to every home to clean the bathroom. There and all, he will come and say that now they are saying not only women, now when men can also do this job. Sex appeal, because women are also now working in a society. They have their own rights. I do one day, you do one day. I am cleaning everything one day, you also clean. Now the advertisement focus is also changing like that. Okay. So this we say that timing and context timing is also very important. When and where you are delivering the message. Timing and context. When and where you're delivering. You're just making the children sit and you're talking something that the children don't understand at all. It's not useful. And you're going to the stockpile persons, one who's intellectually strong. And then you deliver a message like how you're delivering to a children. will become very bad, no? All scientists are sitting, you're delivering some messages like as you are giving to your children. They feel upset. They never want to hear what you're coming to say. So where you are delivering, what time you are delivering, in which context you're delivering, that is important with related to delivery of messages. Same way, when I asked you to write a case study, I told you that either you can present one-sided or two-sided view or approach of an answer. That is, whether you are going to take one stand from your side, what you are thinking, and then you are producing the answer, or from both sides. You can give an arguments in your answers. And then in that way also, you can try to persuade a person. You can say a point, then you can say that I know what you're thinking now. Let me explain. Then you put from his stand, you go to his stand, and then you ask a question, then you give an answer. Then you say your stand, then you ask a question from his stand, and then give an answer. So one side versus two-sided. Primacy versus recency effect is one such effect where initially you have to deliver the message or at the last. After telling everything, after talking nicely, then put the message, the important message. Or first you start, some people ask me, Madam, where I have to put this? Initially when I begin the question in the introduction part or in the conclusion part, it varies. Both has different effect. Depending on the question, depending on the answer which you are writing, sometimes you can put in the first, sometimes you have to deliver the message at the last. The primacy versus recency effect. Like this, the message has to be presented cleanly, clearly, and in the right time to the right people. So that is very important in persuasion. That is why we give most important to message than the source and the sender, right? Then channel of communication, either it can be in the direct channel or it can be indirect channel. Direct channel, I'm sitting face to face and talking to you. That is direct. I know I'm communicating something. I'm holding the hand of a person. I'm trying to convince that person. But indirect means you can deliver it through some media, like the message which is given in medias, social medias. There also they're delivering some messages. They cannot go to every person home. As you see, like they're cleaning through Harpic, going to home by home. In reality, it cannot happen. That is an advertisement only. So what you can do, you can give a general message to the people through some advertisements, or you can transfer some messages related to some issues in the channel, through some programs. So this and all is an indirect mode of communication, which is trying to deliver some message to the people. Okay, so there is two types of channels. One, direct interaction. Second, indirect. Okay, done. Then receiver. So there comes the cognitive approach. Previously, in the traditional approach, what the people did, the source used to send the message to the receiver. Then the source ends there. That is the duty of the source. The source tried to deliver the message. Now the message, either it is accepted or rejected. It doesn't matter. The source has done its duty. But in the cognitive approach, now the receiver started the source has started thinking that if I am delivering this message to the receiver, what the receiver will think, what idea he might have got, whether he is trying to process in this manner or whether he is trying to process in another manner. So he changes and manipulates his message accordingly and try to convince again the receiver. Okay, so this keeps on happening. That is why cognition is involved. Thinking process is involved in this type of persuasion. That's called as cognitive approach. Previously, they used only traditional method. They used to deliver some message to the people, whether people receive it or not. They don't, care for that. They just leave the message to the people. But now we are using a cognitive approach. Why? There are some models which came out, like Elaboration Likelihood Model. We will see that. You can draw the diagram along with me. The Elaboration Likelihood Model. Okay. Likelihood Model. Elaboration Likelihood Model. Elaboration Likelihood Model. So this model was given by John Cacioppo and Richard Petty. So this is the cognitive model. You'll understand once we are done. And Richard Petty. So for this, they explain the theory with the help of a flow chart. Okay. I'm also drawing here. Just take it down. John Cacioppo, Cacioppo. And another one is heuristic processing model that we will see after this. Now we are going to deliver a message. So for this, we are going to consider two channels of communication. Richard Petty. Richard. Richard. Petty. Petty. Richard Petty. Okay, so now draw this diagram. The cognitive approach. Where is the board? Break. 11 o'clock has come. People are very having keen eyes, observation. I forgot I was focusing on this. Okay, please take 10 minutes break, then come back. 10 minutes break. You go with the demand, but what they do, they convince then send you back, no?
That convincing of parents,
What do you want? So that parents starting convincing you and you send back. Now you want to resist that.
We starting persuading and parents in return of persuading.
They persuade you and send it back. This is something which is related to forewarning. And they know that you're coming with the demand. Now they analyze that, what you are asking in front of them. If it is, every time it happens like that, then there is some issues. There's some issues that authority issues is there. Because they think that what they feel is good for you, that you have to accept. So every time you go with a demand, they then turn you down with their own. That is a negative one also, as she said. It is for the betterment of the children. Not every time. Sometimes in some things, you have to relax your theory. You have to make the children experience it. The lower versions, then they will realize, yes. I thought that this will be better, but now I end up in failure. Now what my parents saying is that is the better way of persuading a child. Trips. Most of the family, they never accept you. So in meantime, the children will think, for everything my parent is opposing me? No. Only for this my parents is not allowing me. Might be there is some reason for that. And then the children agree. If for everything, whatever you are coming and telling to the parents, if they're trying to resist and send you back, then automatically it will backfire the parents only. What happens? In the larger interest, the children will act in his own interest only. You would have seen the history of these people. Every time they go and ask something to the parents just stop there. They resist the freedom of the children to think in their own and experience something. They always make the children do what they like, and what happened over the period, children will turn towards them. That is why you would have seen the drug addicts, alcohol, the goats gets addicted to alcohol, who run away from the home. All these people are because of that only, So that's psychology. You cannot simply turn down all the requests made by the children and turn against them. Okay. Yeah. So what was your question? So what do you want to hear through this? That you are going with the request, you want to persuade your parent, but the parent is persuading you and sending you back. It's a type of forewarning only, we can say, because now the parents is warned that you are coming for a demand. Then what they do? They try to resist themselves from the demand what you are making.
Make some arguments like this, and we don't want this policy, and in that case, we just persuade by this.
No, see, you cannot simply be adamant and persuade them. See, this policy is important. You have to accept it. Nowhere it will happen. You have to realize why they are not accepting it. What is the problem? What they require. That is why we said the responsive nature of a civil servant is very important. Ego is not suitable here at all. You cannot be very egoistic in character. If you are egoistic, you are not suitable for that position. So you first have to realize why these people are completely opposing this program. There might be some issues. Then you study about it. Then you come up with modifications. It doesn't mean that they don't want the program at all. They want with some modifications. Okay. In some cases, sometimes what they do is that there will be some group interest group, which among that people itself. So what they do, they never try to accept what the government is coming up with. They always try to oppose and never move away from that places. Okay. So in that cases, you cannot simply go and persuade whatever modifications you go to bring to them, they are not going to accept it. Like especially in rehabilitation, you're moving a person from one place to another. It will not be a successful one unless until you convince them. It will not happen. So what you have to do next? So you have to say them, see, if you are not going to accept this persuades you way, which I am going to talk, I am also talking from your side. I will make all the arrangements what you require. You come up with a demand. This is an order from the government. It cannot be redrawn. It cannot be taken away because this project, which has to be implemented, a developmental project, requires this place for implementation. For the development, we require this. Without this project cannot be implemented. Through this project, this much people life is going to get transformed. But you are a community of only like 100 or 150 or 200 people who are residing in this place. Because of you, 7,000 people are not getting development. So if you are not agreeing, then government will do by force. So if you want to agree, I am here to help you. You just tell me what is your demand. I will add it. This is how we are going to persuade the people. If not, we have to use the government force. Government will take this by force because for development it is required. You cannot simply neglect and say that, no, we are not ready. We are not going to give this land. We are not going to move away. Whatever demand you want to keep, if it is reasonable, we will make it sure from the government side. We are ready to do. I will convince from my side. I'll convince the government people. I'll give the best to you. But if you're not accepting it, unless higher authorities, in the favor of the public, right? Like this, you have to mention some things when you are trying to manage to move the people from one place to another. But if related to program, they cannot simply oppose it. Yes, it has to be stepwise answer only. When you are making answer for these types of question, you have to say, I will follow the following steps. Then you have to give stepwise. Number 1, then 2. If not, what I will do. So you have to write in that pattern. Okay. Today is very hard, I think. Extraordinarily hard. Only for me. From a long time, I'm feeling suffocating. Might be because the air circulation. Yeah, it is like that. Yeah, because I have seen students are suffering, here. At least like family, they do have proper places. Some places are there where there is ample space for breathing. But some places you would have seen like how sparrows are living, people are living in that pattern only. Very hard to survive, no? That is why we don't like these types of life. And nowadays they're increasing the rent. Now about Mukherjee Nagar. They are making business till now. So how about Mukherjee Nagar, this place and all? They cost around 1 room. How much per room? Okay. So it's like a house or it's like separate mansion? PG. So a single room provided to a person or some 3 people stay together? Mostly 2 people has to share the room. Okay, so for that he has to pay a rent of? Depends on the space. Place and space. So why? Because I'm asking from that area nearby our places and all, 1 room they are demanding around 17,000 per student. In sharing basis they are asking. Half year in Mukherjee Nagar. When you are doing your preparation. And there is no such thing as prelims, mains and interview. No separate things. It's a single one. It's a single thing. You start your preparation from mains, you complete your prelims. Only extra attention has to be given to certain subjects for prelims. Once you start studying for your mains, you prepare for your mains. Mains is not a different book. Now for mains, you don't study a different book, and prelims, you don't study a different book. You study same information only. Information is same, topics are same, more or less. When you prepare for those topics, be sure that you prepare both factually and content wise. Okay, when you are ready to prepare, ready to take notes, ready to present it, that is why I always ask you students to try the questions. I am very appreciating you because a lot of new students are forwarding answers day by day. I'm very happy. Even my husband used to say, even in governance classes, I have not received this much answers. Students are sending for ethics class. It's good, appreciable. The thing is that now your mentality is changing. Try to try, okay? If you try only, you'll know how you are, where you are, how you have to improve yourself. It doesn't mean that whether you are going to be a topper, whether you are going to run first, that doesn't matter. All are going to be in the same place only. Okay, only the mark speaks. So how you are going to improve yourself is very important. Day by day, you have to compare yourself with you. Don't compare with anyone. Jealousy is very, jealousy is not required in this field. You don't bring that particular word called jealousy. Okay, so it never and ever should happen. Sometimes people think that, see, where I am, unnecessarily you are troubling yourself. This student has done very well than me, but I am not like that. Why? At last, even till last, you will ask only this why question. No? That's it. Over. In meantime, 1 year will fly away. Second year will fly away. See, the thing is that you have to improve yourself. Day by day, compare yourself with your own knowledge. What you are now. What you are before 1 month. What you are before 2 months. Now how you are. How much you have improved. How you have to. Again, if you want to compare, you take the old question. Old question is the key. Okay. So with that, you can understand the pattern, how the UPSC is going, then learn how you are, how you have developed yourself, whether you are able to understand the questions in the paper. If you are able to understand the question, you are already crossed the half the journey. If you are able to understand the question, you are already crossed half the journey. Only the presentation and producing of answers is important. After the next half is that. How will you do that? If you understand, you will definitely do it easily. Right? Already you have ample of knowledge. You have completed your college. So for somebody is in college only, I don't know. Very good. So when you are going to give your exams? 24. Very good. So there are also some students who are there in colleges. And if you have completed your college also, and you are in college also, you have ample of knowledge. You are reading newspapers. So you are already having knowledge. Implement it. That is the only thing which you have to do. Okay. So try to be in that pattern. Don't simply hear all those things which people are saying and marketly they are advertising. No, crash courses, come for this, come for that. Unnecessarily, don't waste your time. It's the one and only advice we can give. Even then, if you're going to do, you have to complete from your side. Without completing, don't go and sit in the crash course. You're not going to get any benefit. Okay. So it's for revision. They are doing that classes. Done? Now, and test papers. Just check the credential of the paper. How will you check the credential of the paper? Credit rating? Social validation? You can consider social validation to some extent, but check by yourself. Take the paper, test series, compare it with the old question. Whether they are going in the UPSC pattern or they are away from the deviating from the UPSC pattern. Very easily you can identify by comparing the questions with the old question. By last 3 years UPSC question only you compare. Every 3 years once the pattern changes. Okay, sometimes they focus on current affairs. Current affairs 20 questions will come for you. Sometimes current affairs questions are very less. So in that other 3 years, they will follow the same pattern only. Okay. Keep that in mind and work out. As I said, cutoff is important, not the topper in prelims. Mains you have to perform very well. But in prelims, only the cutoff mark is required. Choose 4 subjects, max. Study the 4 subjects thoroughly. Any question should not go out of your hand. If you are trying a subject, no question should go out of your limit. There is a limit. Page to page, cover to cover, you have to cover. And unnecessarily don't study big books for that. Madam has told cover to cover. Take one big book. Study. There is an environment book in the market. Very famous book. It's the trash. Put it in the dustbin if you have it. I'm saying it openly because after inquiring with lot of faculties for past 2 years, Even I had the same opinion, and those faculties who are teaching in environment field gave the same opinion that it is simply a cut copy and like a guide. No, in college days we used to take a book and guide. Now, what is the difference between both? There's a difference. When people read guide, they read only for exams. Those who study for the book, they have good ideas because book is totally different from guide. This is not only a guide. This is simply a cut copy from the site. Don't ever study it unnecessarily. See the question paper. You will understand how the environment questions are going on. Current touch is very important. When you read the newspaper, read it in that pattern. Okay, that is important. Not all the things which is in the newspaper. Don't read it. Otherwise, you will become completely out of mind. You will then they will ask what is your name. Then you have to sit in the sessions. So if you are reading all the thing and putting everything inside your mind, you will not remember anything, any word. Okay, don't do that also. It's print. That doesn't matter whether you print it or not. What is there is important. No, in the book. No explanation. Only the fact they will be giving. It's like something you revise. This much big book. Why you are revising? How many questions are coming from environment? 2021 nowadays. The last 5 years, 21 questions are appearing from environment, not from geography. Keep that in mind. Geography questions, I don't know how many is appearing. But for environment, they will give only 50 hours maximum to teach. Does I don't know how much hour your teacher has taught you here. Does the receiver has enough motivation? So choose the subject wisely, which you like, which you understand, which you remember. That is important. I don't know how you chosen your optional. How you have chosen your optional? Graduation based. Liking based. See, first thing when you are choosing it, so far who have not chosen your optional, first thing what you have to do is, which is the scoring subject? That is important. Take all the scoring subjects, take the syllabus, read the syllabus. After reading the syllabus, you will understand whether you like it or not. Then comes your liking. Even if it's a scoring subject, you don't like it, you cannot study a word. So you have to like and understand. That is important. No, something you are a computer science student, biology oriented subject, anthropology, half of the thing are biology. They say anthropology is scoring subject here. You have to understand, no, what is there. You just go and sit and there is white and black in the board. And what you will understand? Teacher will teach very nicely only. And the most expert of anthropology will come and teach. But you will not understand a single word from that. No use. Okay, so choose accordingly. Choose wisely. That is very important when you choose your optional. Optional is very, very important for you. Mains, everyone will write. All the students are going to write the mains. And in that, there are two specific subjects which makes you outstanding. One is paper 2, another one is paper 4. Okay, all the other subjects, everyone, if history, you take history in paper 1. If the person who is writing history optional will perform extraordinarily in the history section, how will you score? You cannot expect more than 4 marks. Max, you will get 4 marks in that. How will you balance? In paper 2, in paper 4. If you are not a student who is expert in that history field or, especially society, sociology students you take, their answers will be in different way with all the keywords, which we say, no, the words specific to sociology will be there. How will you compete with them? You cannot learn. You cannot go take the sociology book, give here. Let me also read all the words. Unnecessarily waste of time. You will present it in the normal way. You will get 4 marks if you're writing the right answers. Max, if you're using keywords, you will get some extra marks. But you cannot expect more marks in that subjects. But in paper 2, nobody can perform very well. You all will perform in the same manner, but you have to use your talent there in paper 2. Governance area. Governance is a scoring subject. Polity, everyone will write. Governance, extraordinarily prepared students can write it in the proper way. Can approach it if you are approaching in the proper way. Same way, you come to the paper 4. Paper 4 is a subject where no one can predict who will get how many marks. So that depends on your innovativeness, creative. That is why I always inducing your creative and innovativeness in the classes. Don't depend on me for answers. You write your own answers. I will make a correction. How many of you received corrections from me? How many of you done and received corrections from me? What I have done for you? Have I done very good? Keep it up, that only? Or have I written some points for you? For some students, I even wrote 1-page points. Because this is how you can improve your answers. And the answers will not be same for everyone. Except few points which I shared for all. Everyone I would have done the same question, different points I would have given. Based on your perspective. Okay, the way you have written, I have improved your answers. I have not written the same answers for all of you in the corrections. Okay, so that is how you have to be innovative and creative when you are presenting your answers. Keep that in mind and work accordingly. Then you will get good marks in paper 4. Right? Done. Now, we will complete this. Does the receiver have enough motivation? Why so much noises? Door is open, closed only. And if you are giving the exam in English, please try to speak in English, communicate in English with everyone. Now improve your skill. Otherwise, when you sit in the exams, you will never try to frame one sentence properly. Okay, even whenever you're trying to ask doubt or communicating in the to your friends, to the teacher, try to do it in English only. Don't feel shy or embarrassed to do it. Nah. Trying to speak in English. How come they will say like that? They're not trying to speak in English. Now, you're asking about a teacher or your friend? That depends. That depends. You have to ask your friend only. Kya ho raha hai? Are you going to write in Hindi or in English? You ask the same question to him. You just talk in English, you communicate. Even if he replies in Hindi, you talk in English. Over the period, he becomes very vexed. He feels who I am. I am also Peter's son only. Come on, let me also communicate in English. And there is a small column in a newspaper. In Hindi, you will get for English. It will try to improve the way you are presenting your answers. Just read, keep a track of that also. Yes? Then. So one thing you have to keep in mind is that you all are here not to make friends or not to make groups. Why you are here? You are here to, all these are like passing clouds. Keep that in mind. This answer I received from one student. Now he is in Agmood cadre. I'm very proud of that person. 6 years effort. 6 years, not 1 year or 2 years. 6 years I have seen him sitting in the library, sitting in the same pattern, sitting every day he will come. Every day he will get blessing from the teachers. Then he will go, he'll sit in the library, work hard. People started mocking him. They said that, uncle, boomer uncle has come. He became uncle that time because he was very aged. He came later only to the field. Okay, so he started studying. His age is also high. People started marking. You don't want to tell something to him. In front of him only they used to mark. He never listened to those things. He just goes, sit. He don't care about anyone. Started simply sit in his place, studied. His knowledge was so vast. So vast. We cannot even talk to him in such a way that that is the main problem also for him. Then we told him that don't go and talk unnecessarily in the interview. Just shut your mouth, sit. Whatever they ask, you answer. When what you answer. Don't take some other terms and answer. Then what they will do? They will frame a question from that term. They will ask you. They will put you in the loop. Same way in the interview, he has failed 2 times in the interview. So imagine that type of effort he has put. Then in the 6th attempt, he has passed. Now he is in Agmood cadre. He used to say, like, whenever we are asking something, why you don't have friends? Why you are not sitting in a group? Why are you not discussing? All these are passing clouds, madam. Passing clouds. Same. After he failed in the 5th or 4th attempt, many people left him, including his girlfriend. Passing cloud. Then he never see a girl in his life. After that. Then 6th attempt he passed. Then all of them came. They said, Arey, we know you had such a talent. That was shown in your face itself. So society is like that. Don't care for the society. Just do your work, okay? So you are not here to make friends. You are here to clear the exam. Keep that in mind. You don't have that plan. What you are saying? All are clouds. Nah, hereafter when you are seeing these people, clouds only should come in your mind. So there are also people who help friends to clear. Choose your friend wisely. Then after class get over, you will go and curse me. Madam has come. Now my friend fly away.
Ma'am, what is the second point, last word?
Process. Process.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Positive, negative shift. Positive shift, negative shift. Okay. Undergone, positive shift. Undergone, negative shift. For some, embarrassing moment will change their life. Okay. As one of the boy which we know, he has scored a top mark and has got IPS. He told that I am going to be a uniform, so I will take IPS. So we know that person very personally. There was a person who used to reside by his same apartment, where in the basement, that is in the first floor, this person was a teacher. Even at that time, even no, not a teacher even. He was there, he used to teach informally the students. No, he has some knowledge, good knowledge and all. This boy used to reside above him. Due to some girl issue, he started beating this boy in front of everyone, publicly, embarrassing him. So he is a good person. He has not done anything wrong, but because of that girl, he has got manipulated and started fighting in the street like a street fighters, not like a UPSC students. Next year, he got into service. He's still teaching. He has become a teacher now, not a very good person also. And this person has got the service and he is enjoying his life. So like this, everything will change our life. Okay. Don't feel bad. Don't compare yourself with others. You don't know until you try who you are, what you're going to be. Yes, don't, both are yes. The way of processing is different. doing this, let me know, I'll explain. So this is the model which was given by John and Richard. It's called as Elaboration Likelihood Model, ELM model. This is the most elaborate model, most common model, which was accepted for the persuasion. Okay, especially the cognitive approach of persuasion. Previously, they only delivered the message which has to be delivered to the receiver. Now they started thinking from the receiver side also. How the receiver is. That is why I will explain with the help of some examples for you. Okay, so you'll easily understand that. Have you done? Yes. Anything which you don't understand? Huh? It's like playing piano. Yes, please come again.
What is written after responding to?
I think your network. You can write also. Huh? So what is the word which you require? You can chat.
What is ELM, ma'am?
Elaboration Likelihood Model. I
Okay.
have written short form ELM. Responding to cues. CUES. Have you written? Done? This is also called as dual processing model. If you want, you can write another name. This is called dual processing model. Dual processing. Dual processing model. I thought I got a fever, but it is very hot. After everyone is sitting here, no? Because of that, I think. Only I am feeling like that. You people don't feel like that? Something wrong with me then. So have you done? Shall we start? See, according to this model, there are two paths which will be used by a human. Next one is the heuristic processing model. This is the elaboration likelihood model. So this is also called as dual processing model. Next one which we will study is heuristic processing. I will come back. You're not done. Heuristic processing. Child, how will you write your exams mains? Huh? Okay. So you want to make it neatly and arrows. Okay. Do. So see, there are two models. Okay, one is dual processing, another one is heuristic processing. Both the models are coming to tell or give the message in such a way that humans are having a nature. Okay. So one is that we will process the information directly. All the information, whatever given to us, we will analyze whether that is right or wrong. Then we come to a conclusion that only few people are like that. Okay. Even in this much people are sitting here, how many of you will analyze the facts? Suppose some facts is given to you. How many of you will check it? Then you will accept it. Most of the cases, what we will do, we'll accept as such. So that is called heuristic processing. Then another one is called a systematic processing. Systematic processing is like a system. We will take all the information that will take more time and more energy and more effort from the person. So we never go by that side. So we always take a heuristic processing model, which is said in heuristic processing. Same way in elaboration likelihood models also, you can see there are two ways a person will think. One is logically he will think. Other thing is that he will respond to the cues, whatever thing you take. For example, you are going to purchase some mobile or car. Which one you are going to choose as an example? Anything, Louder. Car, okay, you'll take car, Car. Bada, na? So that we will take car, Fine. You are going to say now. One who said car will help us now. Okay. So that's why I asked the question to you, whether you're going to choose a mobile or a car or any other thing. So now, logically thinking side. And another is responding to cues. So what happens now here? You go to a store, automobile store. Okay, some brand you like. You're going there in the automobile. Okay, now what happens? When you go inside, what? Louder, louder. So, so there will be one person approaching you. I am coming that area only. There one person comes to you, he talks to you, Anna, that person will not attend you. Is it true or wrong? They will come to you, they will talk to you, that he will collect information about you. He will gather the information about you. He will identify through this whether you are going to use the central route of processing or whether you are using the peripheral route. This is also called as peripheral route. This is called central route. You are thinking logically, you are thinking, you are responding to the cues. So the way he talks to you, interact with you, he will easily understand that whether the receiver have enough motivation to buy the car. Yes. Okay. What? Not to buy the car. Motivation. Enough motivation to understand the technical issues related to the product. Whether you are efficient and sufficient enough with loaded with information. He will understand that. If yes, then he will ask, does the receiver have the ability to process the information which is given by me? Okay. So after analyzing this question, whether you are able to technically understand about the product or you are just seeing the color, style, light, sexy appeal of the car. This model looks very good. When you are trying to talk in this manner, what happens? He will allot person accordingly. Salesperson, come here. If you are a boy, he will call a girl. Attend this person, responding to cues. Or if you are a girl, they will ask a boy, smart boy, handsome boy. Please come here. This lady, you can easily convince, responding to cues. If not, you are very much technically advanced. Technologically, you are advanced. You are having all the information related to the product. Now, what happens? He will easily understand that you are going to use the central route. Then he will ask the person who is knowledgeable enough to answer you, who knows everything about the product. That person will come and interact with you. Okay, so he will see whether the receiver have the ability to process the information which is given by him. He is giving some information to you. He says RPM. Then what and all the features a car has? Come. That's why I asked automobile. Now you are going to say engine power, torque. Then he says in this language, you have to understand all those words first of all. You cannot go and ask him what is you are mentioning here. So now he understands from the way you are listening to his delivery of fact. You are able to process that information. You are able to understand it. Then if so, then you are using the central route. Either you may buy the product, that is positive shift, positive. Your attitude may get a positive shift, or you may not. You may go to a negative shift. But both the cases, you are using the central route only. If you are not able to process the information which this person is trying to say, then that means you are a Google Baba's student. You have served something about the product, you have come here. Then you don't have much knowledge. Then you are using the peripheral route only. You are using a peripheral route. They will understand easily. Then again, another person will come to attend you. They will see whether you are using the peripheral route attitude change. If so, they will try to impress you with the help of the color. And then he will say, this is the fastest moving product in our automobile industry. Now it will be there only. Nobody is trying to take it, but they will easily convince you that this is the fastest moving now. Many people are preferring this because this has all these benefits. You will never question him. You don't know anything about it. Oh, yes. You accept what he's trying to say. Even take a garment. You go to a branded shop. You go purchase some product. This person will come and say in that pattern. You don't know anything about the fabric. You don't know anything about the thread count. You don't know anything about the features of the product. Okay, non-wrinkle feature. Okay, many features are there related to respective to certain product, but you don't know anything. Then again, what they will try to do, they will see that you are using the peripheral route only. Then they will say, sir, this is the fastest moving product, sir, in our shop. You are lucky you are having this today. You take this, it is in your size. So that peripheral route. So either you may have a positive shift, again you may go for a negative shift. Either you may buy it or you say, okay, fine, I came for window shopping only. Bye. I'm leaving. So this happens in two ways. So central route and peripheral route. That is why we are using that based on the person's motivation and the way he is trying to process the information given by the people, by the sender. Here the sender is a salesperson. He will easily identify that which way he can convince you. Okay, he's thinking from the perspective of the receiver. He's identifying what type of receiver you are, then delivering the message accordingly in order to convince you. If he is saying all these technical words, you will never able to understand. But you are saying all those things which is trying to attract your attention, then you will easily get convinced by those things. So that's how like people try to give you information. So this is cognitive approach. And there is another model which is also supporting this approach, especially the heuristic processing model, where they say that people has two types of processing. One is systematic processing, one is heuristic processing, systematic, and the other is heuristic. In systematic processing, very rarely people will use this. They will analyze all the information given to them, then they will come to a conclusion. It will take a lot of time and effort, and in meantime, 4 years will cross. You're checking all the information, sitting whether the teacher is speaking right or wrong, whether this is right, whether everything is correct, checking daily with the facts and figures. You will never be able to complete. Unless until you accept. So a few times you check whether this is right, then you are confident now. Okay, this is fine only, so the class is going rightly. I will understand. I will try to make those points. When you're trying to study and then you come across some facts which is wrong, then you can ask the teacher that you have said wrongly. Please correct it. So teachers are not gods. They also make mistakes then and there. So systematic processing, this takes a lot of effort. So humans' nature is that they never go for systematic processing. They go for heuristic processing. What is heuristic processing? In this called as knowledge structure. Humans have something called as knowledge structures. What they do, from the moment they are born, they are trying to gather some information and they put up in the form of blocks, knowledge blocks called as knowledge structures. So when somebody is trying to give some information to them, they try to compare that information with the knowledge structures which they have already gathered. Like if suppose some information is given by the experts, then that will be correct. So this is one such knowledge structure which they have built. So if an expert is talking to them, they are a credible source. They are readily accepting what they are trying to say. So that is called heuristic processing. So most of the time, humans use this type of processing only, heuristic processing. So that's why in persuasion also they are trying to use those types of sources which can easily convince the receiver. So if they are using a credible source and delivering some messages, the receiver will easily accept the message delivered by the source. So it's one type of knowledge structures which they are using in order to convince the receiver. So this is called heuristic processing. Okay. So these models are trying to support the cognitive approach of persuasion. You get it? No need to write this. Do you want notes for this? No need, because you are not writing in the exams. And if you want, you just take for heuristic model. This one, the previous model, we have already written thinking logically, responding to cues. Okay. So both, as we have explained through a flow chart. Now you write the heuristic model. Systematic attitude change takes place through two processes. One is systematic processing. Attitude change takes place through two ways. Okay. One is systematic processing. Attitude change takes place through two ways. One is systematic processing. There, put a hyphen and write whereby people think carefully about any available information. People think carefully about any available information when forming an opinion. Think carefully about any available information when forming an opinion to determine whether the information is accurate. When forming an opinion to determine whether the information is accurate or valid. Okay, accurate or valid. Okay. So as this kind of thinking takes a lot of effort. What kind of thinking? This kind of systematic processing. Okay. Accurate or valid, full stop. As this kind of thinking takes a lot of effort. takes a lot of effort, and people have takes a lot of effort, and people have limited time, and people have limited time, and people have limited time and ability. As people have limited time and ability, then they switch to heuristic processing. They switch to heuristic processing. Okay, heuristic processing. So next, right, heuristic processing. This is how we are judging people. So people are not using the systematic processing. People are going to use heuristic processing only, most of the cases, except few. So heuristic processing, put a hyphen and write, attitudes are formed in a more simplified manner. Okay. Attitudes are formed in a more simplified manner, where, W-H-E-R-E, where attitudes are formed in a more simplified manner, where people uses judgmental roles, judgmental roles known as knowledge structures, where people uses judgmental roles known as knowledge structures, okay, that are learned and stored in memory, like agreeing with, like for example, we are writing these things, okay, like agreeing with messages, like agreeing with messages delivered by, experts, comma, or message that are endorsed by others, How you ended up in this academy? How you came to this academy? Searching on Google and reviews. Endorsed by others, no? Most of the times people are buying something because it is getting approval from some other group of people. Okay, some people like it, they give review. Then you accept it. Come here. Endorsed by others. Then endorsed by others. Without fully processing the semantic content. Okay, without fully processing the semantic content of the message. Semantic content, SEMANTIC. What is semantic content of the message? Semantic content of the message. Actual content of the message. You are not, without processing that, you are just simply accepting it because it is endorsed by other people, as we have seen in social validation, or it is given by experts. Experts are saying, there are some academies who are hired experts, not experts. Some influential people, like cricketers and all, they are coming and giving advertisement for them. Yes, you come here. I don't know what is the link between them and the academy, UPSC. They are also coming and talking, and people are accepting it. That is the worst case. People are not ready to differentiate the flaw in that. Yeah. Even the teachers who are coming there, they don't have any idea about UPSC at all. There, one academy, they have recruited me. They told that we are giving a yearly package for you. And I said, okay, give. But the thing is that there's a coordinator of that particular center. She is a model. Then I asked why a model is here. Model has to be where she is, there has to be. She didn't even prepare for UPSC, but she is taking classes for UPSC students. So this is how they are organizing people. They are thinking very lowly. They are thinking that students are like this only. Okay, they can lure easily. Because if a girl is coming and talking like a model who is standing in front and talking, students will never question her. As there are also students who are not questioning her. Not asking why she is talking all these things. So that's different. So it's your life. If you want to see some performance, you can go and see performance, not in the classes. So now we will take a case study. So are we done till this over? Should we repeat something? Yes. So there is some ethical duty of a teacher. No. So I don't want to work in that academy. Even if they are giving crores and crores of rupees, why you have to work in some academy where they are spoiling the students' future? And our students' future is important, no? So we will be also a part of it. Now, again, Uttarakhand, you just start writing a case study now. Case study number, what is the number? 7. Okay, 7. So take the case study. Recently, you start the case like, recently, a state high court, recently the state high court declared, rivers as living entity. Rivers as living entity. Put living entity inside single quotation. Recently, the state, recently a state high court, no need to mention a state name and all. Recently, a state high court has declared rivers as living entities. Rivers as living entity. What it means? Flora and fauna? Can sue the bodies which are polluting the river. No, you can. So it's like a legal entity. A company is a legal entity. You are a legal entity. If somebody is harming you, you can go to court. Same way, if somebody is harming the river, in spite of the river, you can raise a question in the court that sue that body, sue that organization which is trying to pollute the river. Livelihood for option. That and all was argument was put against this particular declaration. Actually, it started with New Zealand. New Zealand was the first country to declare Wanganui River. You would have heard about it. The tribals who were residing nearby used to worship the river also. And so then what happened? There was one company, a factory which is polluting the river continuously. Then immediately New Zealand government came forward and they declared the river as a living entity. So the company has to shut down. Now they cannot simply, or they have to adopt different mechanisms to what? to manage their waste. So to sewage control mechanism, they have to adopt all those facilities. They have to bring inside the company. Instead, what they did, they first mixed it with the river. River has a carrying capacity. There is a carrying capacity of a river. That was the last year question in UPSC. The carrying capacity of the river depends on the load which is given to the river, load which you are sending to the river. If there are thousands of companies which are established across Ganga and Yamuna, and you are 1,000 of you are releasing your wastes, what happens? How much the river will tolerate? After some time, the river will become completely polluted, cannot regenerate back. There is a thing in environment, they used to say that the nature will regenerate on its own. It will try to rectify the pollution which is in it. It will try to subsidize the pollution. It will come to its pure form again. But here, nothing. It is not trying to regenerate to its originality. A lot of sludge has been mixed with the river. So then they said that there should be some mechanism which has to be devised in order to control that. Then in the line of New Zealand, they started declaring the rivers as living entities one by one. One by one, they started declaring. One such state which declared, the High Court came forward. They declared the river as a living entity. Okay, and then you write the case. Declare the river as living entity. But the Supreme Court overruled the High Court statement. But the Supreme Court overruled the High Court statement. But the Supreme Court overruled the High Court statement as the river cannot be viewed as living entity. As the river cannot be viewed as living entity. Put inside double quotation. This is what they said. Rivers cannot be viewed as living entity. So what have you written in the sentence? I'm remodifying the question. So what have you written now in the sentence? Read it. But the Supreme Court, on the demand of the specific government. You mentioned like that. But the Supreme Court, put a hyphen, then you write on the demand of the, that second sentence which you have started, no, but the Supreme Court overruled High Court statement was like that. But in spite you write, but the Supreme Court on the demand of the specific government. Specific government means the same state government has went to court, Supreme Court. No, when High Court has given a judgment, they went and approached the Supreme Court. Supreme Court will not take on its own. You know that, no. So somebody has to go and register a complaint and they have to ask, they have to appeal to the Supreme Court. So the government has appealed. The concerned state government has appealed to the Supreme Court. And then you continue, Supreme Court. And then the Supreme Court overruled the High Court statement. Okay, as the rivers cannot be viewed as living entities. Till this have you written? Full stop. It was appealed by the state government as. How they appealed to the Supreme Court? They appealed, no. So how they appealed? It was appealed by the state government as unsustainable in law. Put inside single quotation, unsustainable in law. Unsustainable in law. Okay. Full stop. Based on this verdict, next paragraph, based on this verdict. What verdict? Supreme Court's verdict. Now Supreme Court has overruled the High Court statement. So based on this verdict, an environmental movement. Based on this verdict, an environmental movement has begun. Based on this verdict, an environmental movement has begun. Yes, louder. What you want to repeat? Based on the verdict. Before that, it was appealed in the state government as unsustainable law. Till that you have written, or before that? Before that. Please, someone read it for him. I have said from mine. Please read it. Second point, I think. You want the second point? No, second sentence. Please read that. Supreme Court, it starts like that.
But the Supreme Court, on the demand of specific government, Supreme Court overruled the High Court statement as the river cannot be viewed as a living entity.
One minute. Can you hear his voice? You're hearing good, at least.
It was appealed by state government as unsustainable in law. Based on this verdict, Supreme Court and environmental movement has taken.
Based on this verdict, that is next paragraph. You are written. Okay. Have you done? Have you done? Okay. Sure. Shall we move? Or you want some other people also to read again? Based on this verdict, an environmental movement has begun against the Supreme Court verdict. Supreme Court verdict and the concerned state government. Okay. Environment movement has begun against the Supreme Court verdict and the concerned state government. And the concerned state government. Full stop. You are the chief secretary of the particular state. You are the chief secretary of the particular state. You are the chief secretary of the particular state. What rational policy you would follow? What rational policy you would follow at this situation? Okay. So you asked me persuasion, this. Now you are going to use your knowledge and tell me the answer. Policy you would follow at this situation. So now the situation is like this. So what policy you are going to follow? Right? Yes. What policy you are going to follow now? So what is the issue? Issue is like the High Court has came up with certain environmental ethics, environmental issue, and state government has come up with certain, High Court has come up with certain judgment that they told that rivers are living entity. Now the government is not ready to accept it. Why? What is the reason the government, you just think, why the government will not accept this type of judgment given by court? Economical loss, main thing. Because if it is a living entity, then what happens? Most of the factories and industries will be located near the river bank only, no? So because they're discharging the waste into the river. But now if it is, given a living entity status, then what happens? Like a legal entity, you have to fight, you can fight in the court. You can just go, you can sue those organizations which is trying to pollute the river. Then now all the rivers has to be shut down. All the industries has to be shut down. So if it is shut down, then it's a total loss to the government. So
So that's how they go and appeal to the Supreme Court. Yes, mainly even the government people also would have industries. That's the different thing. Some vested interest in that. Yes, that's why. Their pocket will pinch, no. Their own pocket also. We cannot talk that openly. So that they are very honest people. We have to talk like that only. So based on the interest of the state, they are going to court. So they went to Supreme Court. Now the Supreme Court has given a judgment. What judgment they have given? Okay, we are overruling it. How come you immediately say this is a living entity and as like a legal entity, they have all the rights, and now you are completely closing down or shutting down all the factories and industries. A lot of people are going to lose jobs. They on the greater good. And again, there is also something under the table, but we don't know. But here it returns in the form of greater good, and they say that please open, please take your statement back. You cannot declare like that. And now what happened? All the activists gathered the people. Environmental movement has begun. As people are not ready to accept this move by the Supreme Court, and they are also fighting against the state government itself. Now you are the person who is responsible for maintaining law and order in your state. Now what will you do? How are you going to tackle this situation? First, you are going to persuade the people. Persuasion start. Convincing. So first, here 2 approaches you are going to do. Step by step, each approach you will be solving this question. First approach is you are going to give persuasive messages to people. You are going to handle persuasion. The people through persuasion. How will you handle through persuasion? You are calling the people, the person who leads the movement. You call and talk with him, negotiate with him. You tell them that what is the fact, why this particular move cannot be accepted by the High Court move cannot be accepted. What is the reason? What are the flaws? In the question itself, there is one word called unsustainable in law. Why they have mentioned unsustainable in law? Okay. One thing is from the people's perspective. Another thing from the law perspective